Good morning to all. I am Dr. Amruta Naik from Department of Biosciences and Technology. It gives me pleasure to welcome all for the National Symposium on Synergizing Science for Sustainability, Clean Energy, Resilient Agriculture, and Circular Economy, S-Cube CLEAR-25, organized by the Department of Biosciences and Technology under the School of Science and Environmental Studies, Dr. Vishwanath Karad, MIT World Peace University, Pune. This symposium is special as it aligns with the theme of Earth Day 2025, Our Power, Our Planet, emphasizing our collective responsibility to transition towards a cleaner, greener, and more equitable world. We take pride in announcing that this is the third edition of Ek Earth event organized by Department of Biosciences and Technology. Let us give a round of applause. Thank you. I'm really glad to announce that this symposium is supported by Anusandhan National Research Foundation, Government of India. It is partnered with BAIF Development Research Foundation and sponsored by NextGen Life Sciences. The symposium is being organized under the inspiring leadership of our founder, president, and UNESCO chairholder, Professor Dr. Vishwanath Karad sir, whose vision and world peace through science and education continues to guide us. We are also grateful for the continuous support and motivation from Dr. Rahul Karad sir, Executive President, whose commitment to academic excellence has shaped MIT World Peace University into a hub of innovation and research. We are honored to be backed by our dynamic university leadership, Dr. Ravi Kumar Chitnis sir, Vice Chancellor, Dr. Milind Pandey sir, Pro Vice Chancellor, Dr. Prasad Khandekar sir, Chief Academic Officer, and Dr. Murthy Chawli sir, Dean R&D, whose guidance has been instrumental in shaping this event. The symposium is convened by Dr. Anup Kale sir, Interim Dean, School of Science and Environmental Studies, with the enthusiastic support of co-conveners Dr. Shilpa Chapadgaonkar, Dr. Mansi Mishra, Dr. Nitya, and Dr. Tejaswini Pachpur. This symposium will bring together brilliant minds from across the country, students, scientists, academicians, and industry professionals to share innovative ideas, research findings, and transformative solutions to some of the most challenging aspects that are faced by our planet today. The symposium focuses on 4 key thematic areas which are mapped to some of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, that is SDGs, that aim global peace and prosperity for people and planet. So we have 4 thematic area. The first thematic area is affordable and clean energy, mapping with the SDG 7. Second thematic area, climate resilient agriculture, mapping SDG 2 and 13. The third thematic area, circular economy and natural resources, mapping SDG 12. And the fourth thematic area, natural products and functional foods, mapping SDGs 3 and 15. Let us come together to synergize science, spark ideas, and drive actions that shape a better tomorrow. So today and tomorrow, we shall explore cutting-edge developments in sustainable science, green technologies, and eco-innovations across diverse themes like clean energy, climate-resilient agriculture, and circular bioeconomy. With that, let us now invoke a sense of peace and spiritual harmony as we begin our session with a world peace prayer, followed by a lamp lighting ceremony. I request everyone to rise in seats and join us for the World Peace Prayer.
प्रतिपाद्या जय जय स्वसंवेद्या आत्मरूपा देवा तूची गणेशु सकलार्थमति प्रकाशु म्हणे निवृत्तिदासु अवधारी गोजी गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
Thank you. I request everyone to be seated and requesting all the dignitaries to please proceed for the lamp lighting ceremony, which symbolizes knowledge, sustainability, and enlightenment. Thank you. I request the dignitaries to please take their seats. I now invite Professor Dr. Anup Kale, sir, Interim Dean, School of Science and Environmental Studies, MIT World Peace University, and convener SQ CLEAR-25 for the formal welcome at today's inaugural function.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Nayak. Yeah. So, good morning, all participants. It's our privilege and we are honored, sir, with the presence of Padma Shri Dr. G.D. Yadav. So, thank you, sir, for gracing this occasion. At the same time, we thank you, our Honorable Vice Chancellor Chitnis, sir, Pro Vice Chancellor Pandey, sir, and our Honorable Chief Academic Officer Prasad Kandekar, sir, for coming to this occasion and addressing to you all. As the theme is like science for sustainability, it is very important if you want to sustain the human race, and not only the human race, we want to sustain this planet, where it's not only human beings, but the sustenance of all other living and non-living beings. So at this time, the theme of the conference is very important, where we are addressing the challenges right from the waste to how we can go more natural in terms of our technologies also. So it's like, as G.D. Yadav sir was also mentioning a while ago, that translational approach is very important. So in this case, how do we come up with the innovations, turning agricultural waste into some useful products? And also, how can we go more natural when it comes to the advancements of the human race and the technology? So this is the conference where we'll be discussing this issues with the participants. And sir, we are happy to share that more youngsters are here, not only in terms of participants, but this organization of the conference. So our research scholars and undergraduate and postgraduate students, they have taken a lot of efforts. They have been working for past 1 month to make this event a success and to also have the thematic areas to be run in a proper manner. So it also shows the commitment of the school and the university per se, in terms of where youngsters are taking the lead and addressing these issues in terms of organizing such activities and the events, along with the mentorship of the young and experienced faculty members. So I'll not take much of your time, but as has been introduced earlier, all 4 thematic areas, so we have got more than 100 abstracts and poster presentations for the conference, where more of them are like they are from more than 15 institutions across the different states in India. So that also speaks about the importance of the theme, and where also we are ready to come together and think how we can go ahead in a better manner, more planned manner. So, and another important aspect is down the line, this will also be an important part when it comes to the development of the Indian economy in a more sustainable manner. Because if we sustain, if Earth sustains, then we will sustain, as simple as that. So thank you all for coming for this conference. We are sure that you will be enjoying these 2 days of the stay over here, along with the scientific deliberations, and you'll also enjoy the stay on the campus. Yes, thank you and welcome all. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. It is a privilege to welcome Professor Dr. Ravi Kumar Chitnis, sir, Vice Chancellor of MIT-WPU. I invite Professor Chitnis, sir, to share his thoughts on the symposium.
Sir, it is indeed privilege and honor to be Padma Shri Dr. Ganpati Yadav sir, and great honor to welcome him on behalf of Dr. Karad sir and hello, hello, hello. Hello. Yeah. Indeed, pleasure and honor to be in this August meeting conference, and welcome on behalf of Dr. Karad sir, Padma Shri Dr. Ganpati Yadav sir. When Yadav sir speaks, he mesmerizes everyone. Not only because of his knowledge, not only because of his experience, not only because of command on the research in his domain, but because of the lucid communication or presentation which he does. I feel that we should have a Padma Shri for teachers only who are this type of teachers. And I made a mistake by saying Padma Shri, it should be a Bharat Ratna for a person like Yadav sir. Taking knowledge across is an art. Touching your hearts is a very complex process. Motivate you in the advent of Google University is a difficult and complex process. And that's why Dr. Yadav becomes immortal kind of a professor who has come to our country, India. Friends, this symposium is organized as a part of Earth Day celebrations which began on 22nd April 2025. You started it. And this symposium also refers to Earth 3.0. Why 3.0? Well, it is a long process of evolution that we must look at very carefully and responsibly. Earth 1.0 pertains to the origin and sustenance of the wonderful planet Earth for billions of years of its harmonious existence with numerous species thriving on it. Well, Earth 2.0 began just 2 centuries ago with the Industrial Revolution, which made wonders but at the cost of natural resources. And that overconsumption of natural resources has made so much so disaster for the entire humanity that it resulted in catastrophes like climate change, global warming, environmental imbalance, and so on. And that's why we are beginning of Earth 3.0 to establish and maintain the prosperity of Earth 2.0 while at the same time ensure sustainability of Earth 1.0. Today, we stand at a crucial juncture where the convergence of scientific innovation and sustainable practices is not just desirable, it is imperative for the survival of our future generations. The challenges of our time, such as climate change, resource depletion, environmental degradation, all these demands that we think beyond silos. They demand that we break down the traditional boundaries between disciplines and forge a new dynamic collaborations across sectors and specializations. And that is what we try to do when we say that WPU is a multi-faculty organization. If you go to any particular law college or any particular science college, you get only that much. But here we have 175. Yadav Saab, we have 175 degree postgraduate programs and PhDs. Out of 175, 30 are PhD programs. This symposium in particular brings together 3 critical pillars: clean energy, resilient agriculture, and circular economy. And each is a cornerstone of sustainability in its own right and even more powerful when integrated. It is this synergy that we must now strive to achieve. Clean energy is no longer option, it's a necessity. And as universities and research institutions, we have collective responsibility to not only advance technological innovations, but also create ecosystems where renewable energy can be scaled, decentralized, and democratized. I was asking Honorable Padma Shri Yadav sir that you speak very lucidly, but more than that, you speak in a very open way when I heard him last year. Is it because you are out of government now? And he will reply what he has to when his turn comes. The circular economy represents shift in our mindset from consumption to regeneration. It challenges us to design systems that minimize waste, maximize value, and mimic the closed loop cycles of the nature itself. At this symposium, we are not only exchanging knowledge, but we are trying to give right direction for better future through Dr. Yadav sir. Let's use this platform to explore innovative models, share successful case studies, and build actionable pathways towards a greener, more sustainable, beautiful world. We complement the organizing committee, our academic and industry partners, namely Anusandhan National Research Foundation, Next Gen Life Sciences, BAIF, for their generous support. Thank you very much. Our thanks to each one of you for contributing to this dialogue and this symposium, but we expect this relationship will continue and grow for forthcoming conferences at MIT World Peace University. May this symposium be a beacon of ideas, beacon of partnerships, and beacon of progress. Let's synergize science for sustainability, and let us do it together and prosper and do not perish because of any reasons. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, Vande Mataram. you are aware that this university has board of examination, board of management, board of studies, academic council, all, and 3-4 of us, we have different positions like head, deputy head. So today we have at 11 o'clock board of examination. You have so many suggestions for examination system. So allow me to take leave, and I will request after me, Khandekar sir, you also please join with me. And Dr. Pandey sir, you can be here, but because of Dr. Yadav sir, but try to see that you also join whenever you are free. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your thoughts on sustainable science. We will definitely get an opportunity to hear the thoughts of Dr. Khandekar sir and Professor Dr. Milind Pandey sir. But before that, we will start with the felicitation of our chief guest. I take the privilege to introduce our chief guest for the inauguration session, a visionary in green technologies and sustainable innovation, Professor Dr. Ganpati D. Yadav sir, Padma Shri awardee, eminent scientist and former Vice Chancellor ICT Mumbai. Professor Ganpati D. Yadav sir is a globally renowned chemical engineer and a visionary leader in academia and research. He currently holds the position of Emeritus Professor of Eminence and J.C. Bose National Fellow at the Institute of Chemical Technology, Mumbai, where he has served in various leadership capacities since 1986. A Fellow of Royal Society of Chemistry, the World Academy of Sciences, and the Indian National Academy of Engineering, Professor Yadav sir is celebrated for his pioneering work in green chemistry, catalysis, chemical reaction engineering, and nanotechnology. His prolific research outputs include over 400 peer-reviewed publications and more than 50 patents with groundbreaking contributions in sustainable process development, energy engineering, and CO2 valorization. An inspiring mentor and educator, he has guided 97 PhD students and numerous postdoctoral researchers. Professor Yadav sir's exemplary career has been recognized through multiple prestigious honorary doctorates and international accolades, highlighting his lasting impacts on science, innovation, and education. I now invite Professor Chitnis sir, Professor Pandey sir, and Professor Anup sir to felicitate Professor Yadav sir. And Dr. Khandekar sir, please. Please give a huge round of applause. Thank you so much. I now invite Dr. Prasad Khandekar sir.
The visionary Padma Shri Dr. G.D. Yadav, Pro VC Pandey sir, Anup Kale, and my dear colleagues, I won't take much time here. I wish all the good luck to all the participants and organizers of this particular conference. And I wish those who are from outside will have a pleasant stay on our campus. And thank you so much. You are doing great, Professor Kale. Thank you so much for having me here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. We are honored to have with us Professor Dr. Milind Pandey sir, Pro Vice Chancellor, MIT-WPU University. I request Professor Pandey sir to address the participants and share his thoughts and vision for sustainable science.
Good morning. I take this opportunity to welcome you all for this historic, unique, prestigious conference. Why I am saying this? Because it's a great honor to receive Honorable G.D. Yadav sir. I was carefully listening to our madam, but then I just got corrected achievements and current highlight of his career. It's a great honor. सर का यहाँ पे आना, हम लोगों से बात करना, this is the lifetime opportunity to listen to him. So, in his career, he guided 115 PhDs, 153 master's projects, 570 papers with the highest age index, and 136 patents in a single life. This is something very unique, and highest award in the science and technology called Bhatnagar Award. He is the fellow of Bhatnagar Award, he is the recipient of the Bhatnagar Awards, and on the top of it, he is a National Science Chair for Government of India. आपको पता होगा कि why I am saying this. It's a great honor for all of us. Sir, thank you so much. And this MIT has taken up one very unique conference called NSRTC, National Science Roundtable Conference, where he was heading. And trust me, more than 100 scientists came to MIT Pune. Out of that, 13 was the Padma awardees. Close to 27 Bhatnagar awardees, and rest scientists was INSA awardees. It's a great opportunity. We came out with the report, paper, and again this year, that was the first edition, and second edition, he chairing the NSRTC, and in the month of July we are conducting. It's a great opportunity to take part in this NSRTC, and this conference is the extended part of first NSRTC. सर, आपके सामने बात करना यानी सूरज को जुगनू का लाइट बताना, ऐसे मैं समझता हूँ, but still I will try something. I'm a die-hard follower of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and recently I came across one book wrote by Padma Vibhushan Dr. Mashelkar, in his book called Leap Frogging to Paul Holting. He given one formula called 347. So when he said what are the biggest problems in front of the world, these are 3E. What is 3E? He said employment, energy and environment. You go to any part of the country, any part of the world, these are the three basic problems and how to solve it. Another 4 is coming, 347. When I say 4, he said there is a solution if we follow the process called STEP, step. But to him, step is, S is very important. When I said this step is society transformation through technology called S. T is using the current technology to solve the society problems. T is the complete ecosystem developed in the academic institution, in the corporates. E, and P is the policy. And then he said 7 he called assured startups. How you can solve employment? Only startup is the solution. I was talking to my colleagues. He said, when we are doing this type of conference, this conference should lead to the paper to patent, and patent to product. Those days gone, the DNA of success of any university is how much startups are graduating from the university. It's not the only student startup, how many faculties are putting the startups and how they are developing the student mindset to be the entrepreneur. That is the DNA of success of any university. And when I said 347, 7 is a formula called assured startups. And he was kind enough to give the long form of assured, ASSURED. He said affordable startup, sustainable startup, simple startup, and list goes on. So this is the 347 formula. My appeal to every one of you after listening to such a stalwarts, please try to develop paper to patent and patent to product. Ultimate aim is each and every student, the outcome of any conference is how you are taking your idea to implementation. Sir, we are trying to give one notebook for each and every student, right from the entry into the university up to their convocation. We want whatever the ideas coming to their mind, please write it onto the paper, नहीं तो निकल जाता है. Whatever you are listening to him and you can correlate with, अरे ये ऐसा ऐसा हो रहा है, हमको ये idea है मेरा. So that ideas has to be written down on a paper. मैं हमेशा मेरे भाषण में बोलता हूँ कि these are the 3 important formulas. Idea to implementation, whatever the idea coming to your mind, how you are taking it from mind to market, and whatever idea you are writing onto the paper, how you can take it from paper to product, I to I, M to M, P to P. This is education of the future and future of the education. All the top universities, I got the opportunity to get his guidance in US trip. I was so fortunate, I traveled with him to the MIT Boston. We saw MIT Media Lab. We visited Harvard. Physics के Nobel laureates कहाँ है, chemistry के कहाँ है, bio के कहाँ है. He was guiding me. It's a great honor for me to travel with him, to get associated with him. So, बहुत लंबी बात नहीं करूँगा, but this is something I was coming and I saw the team, they have put up Dr. Abdul Kalam ji का quote वहाँ पे. This university got the opportunity to work on his project called PURA, P-U-R-A, providing urban opportunities to rural area. Whatever is the best in urban, how we can transfer it to the rural. And he wrote one book called Targeted 3 Billion. How you can reach to the last person in the pyramid. That is what, and then Digital India, mobile agriculture, mobile health, mobile education. These are the outcomes of his book when he wrote this Targeted 3 Billion. And that is what then our Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji converted into the Digital India, but the basis was this book called Targeted 3 Billion. In his concept called Pura Agriculture की बात हो रही थी. This university worked on one project, one startup called mobile agriculture. So what we did, in a 6 by 6 acre ka land, if you put the IoTs and sensors, the farmer will get the 13 parameters on his mobile on his own language. Our Honorable Dr. Vijay Bhatkar supported us through CDAC to convert those English into Marathi, into Telugu, Kannada, Gujarati. So in a 6 by 6 acre, the farmer will come to know what is the rainfall, what is the wind direction, what is the wind speed, what is the water level controller, what is the soil moisture, soil temperature. These are all 13 parameters which are useful for the farmer will be getting. He need not to go to his farm. He can just connect, and on the top of it, with the help of technology, if the water level goes below, just one click, one message, 13 hash, motor will start automatically. Sprinkler will start automatically. So these are some things of the mobile agriculture. Dr. Yadav sir in our conversation asked, do we have the incubator? Sir, I am very happy to quote here. We have MIT, TBI called MIT Technology Business Incubator. More than 72 startups graduated. We got 5 crores from the DST, and this TBI is mean for you people, those who are coming up with the great ideas. There is a technology readiness level called 6. It's not important. If idea coming to your mind, how you are translating it onto the paper, do you have any prototype? If you are at the technology readiness level 6, TBI will accommodate you. So currently 52 startups, they are in-house. We have a very good space here. If you can register, you can sit there, you can. So we want all our students, they have to have the innovation in head, compassion in heart, and passion in belly. The complete coordination between the head, hand, and heart for the noble cause, for the society transformation, that is the aim of this university. कलाम साहब की बात निकली तो मैं एक कोट बोल के मेरी बात खत्म करूंगा. But sir, I would like to thank Reviti, they set up their center of excellence on this campus. They sponsored the workshop also. We have a Genova Pharma and all others. I take this opportunity to congratulate the entire organizing team, all the participating students, and all delegates, those who came all the way from the different institutions. I can saw the very senior delegates here. Welcome you for this conference. And I hope this conference will bring a lot of discussions, lot of insights, and it's a fortune enough, again I am repeating, to listen to Honorable Dr. Ganpati Yadav sir. Abdul Kalam साहब ने लिखा है कि I am not handsome, but I can give hand to someone for the noble cause. Beauty lies not on the face, in the heart. Please take this forward. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I now request Professor Yadav sir to deliver the keynote speech on a topic that defines the essence of our symposium, clean energy transition and future of green hydrogen. Over to you, sir.
Good morning. Are you able to hear me at the back? Thank you. At the very outset, I would like to thank the management of MIT-WPU, starting with the Vice Chancellor, Professor Ravi Kumar Tipnis, Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor Milind Pandey, the two colleagues here. Yeah. And Dr. Khandekar, invited distinguished speakers, dear students, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, you all put me on a pedestal. And on pedestal, people don't speak. They just keep silence. So I don't know. I'm in a dilemma. But I've been coming to your campus quite some time, interact with some of your senior faculty. So once again, I'm very happy to be here. Thank you, Professor Pandey, for, eulogizing me. I don't know whether I deserve that, but at the same time, I'm going to entertain you. A teacher must entertain students. Otherwise, they will sleep very nicely. And many times I quote this, let me repeat it. Students' attention span in any class is not more than 7 minutes. The reason being, they will listen to you for 7 minutes and they will start playing with their mobile phone, today's big weapon. The backbencher will send message to the front bench and likewise. And if the teacher turns his back or her back, they will make funny comments. You can give 8th minute to the student provided the teacher is attractive, well-dressed, not otherwise. So it's a tough one. So if you want to teach today's generation, it has to be interactive. It cannot be just one-way traffic. It has to be interactive. Students must participate in that interaction. Don't want, that is the next generation education. So we may use any technology, old notes and whatever, but but you are not interactive, the message is never carried. So you have a very important conference here. I thought it is international, but anyway, people are here from international. But so I'm going to talk about energy transition and net zero goals, net negative goals. I'm talking about net negative. And why I'm talking that will come, you will realize soon. It is forward or backward? What is it? Forward? Forward? Okay, all right. So look at this particular slide here. I have updated the information up to April 22, 2025. So it is current. The concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is 430 ppm. When the pandemic began in 25 years ago, it was 410. So we have added 20 ppm. So you have this uncomfortable weather, you find that these days, right? It's because of this greenhouse gas emissions. So in 2020, we had 410. You know that for almost 2 years, we were bound to, glued to the TV, sitting at home, not doing anything. The economy was at standstill. But we still added 2 ppm. So the next January 2021, it was 412. And there was a funny incident, because we talked about employment, energy, environment. On a particular date in April 2020, that is April 10 to be precise, the price of crude oil was negative. It means you have to pay people to take that crude oil. $10 per barrel, because there was no use. And there were 7 fracking companies in Texas. They withdrew their investment. They were going to invest some $7 billion in Texas. They withdrew it. They said there is no future for hydrocarbon industry. Okay, and the industry will die. There was a gloomy picture painted by them, and the industry will die because, hydrocarbon, nobody's bothered about it. Why it happened? Because we were not using energy to the extent we used to do that before. And that time the world's energy capacity, the so-called refinery capacity, was 97.4 million barrels a day. Okay, 97, that was in 2020. So that came down to 85. And therefore they withdrew it. And they said unless the cost of this barrel becomes 60 plus, there will not be any business for refineries. You know something? We crossed that. And by 2022 June, we had already crossed it, and it became 418 ppm carbon dioxide. That means economic activity was restored. Remember, in today's world, if you are conscious about the world events, what is happening across the world, the president of US, Donald Trump, says the cost of crude oil should be less than $60. If that is the case, then, but the dichotomy, I will tell you a little interesting, that, I'm not a politician, but I can comment on politics. And Dr. Tipnis was saying whether because I have retired, I'm making free comments. No, I was like this even before. Speaking truth is not a crime. The only thing is how you put it before. You don't have to be obnoxious. You can tell the truth, right? And believe me, politicians like to listen truth. Don't tell lies to the politician. They know that you are a liar. They are also smart, right? They have gone to that place, become ministers. They must have some qualities. Why should we think that because we have PhDs, we are smarter than them? No, not at all, actually. Not at all. You have to tell them the truth. And if you tell the truth to the minister, they will listen to you. So one minister, very powerful minister, he said, Yadav sir, I'm afraid of you. I said, how can you be afraid of? I'm just ordinary vice chancellor of a university. How can I? He said, no, you tell on our face, you will not do it. Because it is illegal. Now that I did, yes. Of course I should tell them, I will not do it. So that thing comes out of your conviction, commitment and all that, right? So coming back to this fracking business. So Donald Trump said he will not abide by the 2015 Paris Agreement, by which we all of 195 nations signed that agreement in Paris, and they said that they will restrict the emissions of carbon dioxide, in other words, use of carbon as a fuel, so that the temperature of the globe does not rise beyond 2 degrees Celsius by the year 2100. And then they revise it. They said, why 2? Let it be 1.5 degree. So the target was 1.5 degrees Celsius. That was the fact. Now Donald Trump says he doesn't believe in that. He won the election. And then the next election, Joe Biden became the president, and he said he's committed to this climate summit. He called a world leaders meeting. Our prime minister was also there. I've seen that in April 2022, 23, in 2021. And he said, we will commit to carbon neutrality and the so-called net zero goal. Okay, net zero does not mean carbon dioxide not emitted. Net zero means whatever carbon dioxide is emitted is taken care of by some other technology. That is the meaning of that. So Joe Biden did that. Exactly this. Last year when they had election campaigning going on, USA, Kamala Harris was the vice president. Our Indians loved her for no reason. And you know what happened? In Pennsylvania, I heard her on the television, I was during that time in the USA, she said she will also promote fracking. Her government's commitment was carbon neutrality, and she says, what is the meaning of that? It is the politics of energy. Nobody's caring for that atmospheric carbon dioxide. They worry for their energy needs of the nation. And so I will tell you something else. Several years ago, I was in Chennai addressing the Anna University some memorial lecture, and all of a sudden the power went off. They said, sir, we are very sorry, there is no power. I said, don't worry, I don't need slides, I can talk without slides. I said, I wish your government had listened, and they were agitating against the Kudankulam power plant, the nuclear power plant. People, these Tamil fellows were. And they were saying that we don't need nuclear energy. We don't need coal energy. What do we need? Why? Because Germany doesn't have it, and it's a prosperous nation. They don't have nuclear energy. France has it, and we don't want it. And every day, procession used to go. A lot of villagers and others, unemployed people will be in the procession, go in trucks, sit there, dharna, okay, and they will sit there holding a placard. They never knew why they were protesting. They used to get food, breakfast, nasta, everything, and 500 rupees in the evening, and they go back. This continued. Why? Because our nuclear plant was going critical, and the technology was given to us by Russia, and the Americans did not like it. That's the politics. But Jayalalitha came back to power, and she said she wants all the power. And the very interesting part, I was in Canada, and that was an Indo-Canadian meeting, and they were, unfortunately the ambassador of India to Canada, High Commissioner, okay, it's not called ambassador, but High Commissioner was missing. So they said, sir, you are from India, can you sit on the dais like this, inaugural, and speak? I said, look, I can speak in my individual capacity. I don't represent the government of India. So if I make any statement, it will be embarrassing for the government. I will not do that, but I will speak my mind. So that time I said, while you guys were advising us to stop nuclear power and coal plants, and Germany restarted those things when the Ukraine-Russia war started, right? So it is very easy to tell the person who is hungry not to eat good food, okay? Only because your tummy is full. You advise the hungry person, don't eat. This is the international politics on energy. So every nation is worried about energy, and now we are talking about sustainable energy. So my slides, okay, I'll zip through. So remember, these are the so-called, sometimes people don't know, those who are in environmental engineering or science. There is something called scope 1, scope 2, scope 3 pollution. Scope 1 means it is limited to your production. Okay, scope 2 and scope 3, supposing you are doing something here and in the factory premises everything is clean, nice, no emissions of any kind, okay, you achieved the goal. But a truck oozing with all this smoke comes to your factory, that is also your responsibility. So the delivery to the factory and delivery from the factory outside, that is scope 2 and scope 3, that also you are responsible. Today, that is called ESG. All companies have to give their statistics on ESG and sustainability. Since your conference on sustainability, I must educate you with that. Okay, that is what is actually happening. So all these gases, we normally talk about carbon dioxide, but then is methane also, then sulfur hexafluoride in all other gases. Now sulfur hexafluoride is by nuclear energy, okay? The nuclear industry like BRC, they use it. But these are deadlier gases, okay? Their potential is very high. But, so these days what is happening? In Europe particularly, they say cows are more dangerous. Why? Because they emit methane. There is an anaerobic digestion in their tummy and they ooze out methane. So they are not taken as friendly animals. So that is also causing an environmental problem. So you imagine, because science is advancing, we are able to count each and everything which is contributing to GHG. They said cows are also dangerous. So what is not dangerous? Your Honorable Vice Chancellor was saying Earth 1.0, Earth 2.0, Earth 3.0. This is all based on circularity. It is all based on circularity. So I will tell you something interesting about this. So, like I was telling you about 1.5 degrees Celsius. So they calculated the carbon dioxide emission. So it is a carbon dioxide budget. Like you budget your family's budget. You say, okay, 25,000 rupees monthly expense, no more. Of course, kids allow you to extend that. These days, kids take more money from the parents than they used to do. So CO2 budget, there is a CO2 budget. So that budget, you see how many billion tons? 200 billion tons, okay? Now, that is getting exhausted every day. We are emitting so much of carbon dioxide. And so we have to see that what we add to the total to achieve that 1.5 degrees Celsius, we must contain our carbon dioxide. We must contain our carbon dioxide. So why we have this problem? Because the entire world's economy is based on carbon. Since you have studied chemistry, silicon is the maximum thing, 27% of Earth's crust. Carbon is not that much. So, but carbon is required for survival of species, biospecies, because you are biological students, right? Without carbon, it cannot be there. Biological species will not be there. So, carbon is required for survival. Carbon is required in the soil as a fertilizer, but more carbon is not required in the atmosphere. That is the carbon balance. So, we have so-called fossil fuels and we have renewable. So coal, petroleum, natural gas, these carbonaceous sources, they are fossil because they cannot be generated. They were generated over millions and billions of years, right? Through a process of carbonization. And so that is the reason. But that can be replaced by so-called biomass. Biomass. So in future, believe me, by 2050, we will not have crude oil as our resource, and we are having refineries, we are having all those things. So what happens then? And I tell you why, because nothing in this world is without economics, okay? Either the cost of crude oil will be $200 a barrel, or you develop better technology by which nobody uses crude oil. So that is interesting part. So you can have chemical conversion, biological conversion, physical conversion, including nuclear conversion. We can have, so replacement of the fossil carbon by biomass. Now these days we call it as biorefinery. I always tell jokingly to my students, I teach green chemistry and engineering and sustainability and whatnot. So I tell them, remember, you go to industry, the industry is owned by some Shetji sitting somewhere in a nice air-conditioned room. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He's interested in green, that is the dollar. If you could make more dollar by using any technique, technology, process, he is happy. Whether you call it green chemistry or green engineering or sustainability, he doesn't care. He wants more money. In other words, it is as scientists and engineers and technologists, we have to develop technology which is literally green, reduce pollution, does the process intensification, and we do recycling. Right? Incidentally, you make money also. So Shetji is happy because he wants money. And he says, okay, you call it green, brown, I don't care, give me more money. Isn't it? That is the reality. That is. And I also say this, I don't know how many of you are engineers here, I'm an engineer here. Engineering, definition of engineering is very simple. Engineering means making more money. You will remember this forever. So if you are making more money, your wife will say you are an engineer. Otherwise, it will always remain a laboratory curiosity. We do many things in the laboratory, but if it is not translated to economic scale, higher scale, scale up, it is not engineering. And engineering is precise. That is, we do it again and again and again with the same precision, all those things. Therefore, it is engineering. So engineering means making more money. Correct? So how do we make more money with this? The problem is the use of carbon as a fuel is the real culprit of today's world. So if you want to protect the environment, we have to take carbon out of our fuel. That is why the title, negative. I'm saying the negative goal. So I will tell you what that means also further. Look, at the oil refinery, I have compared that against the biorefinery. On the left-hand side, so everybody is familiar with oil refinery. It cracks. And then whatever fuel is there, when you use it as a fuel, it is carbon dioxide. Right? That is greenhouse gas. So on the contrary, so that is greenhouse gas. On the contrary, in the case of so-called biorefinery, it is carbon neutral. So people will tell bioethanol is carbon neutral. Any fuel based on biomass is carbon neutral. But is it the solution? I have been talking against it. I said that is not the solution to protect the human species. They also talked about biospecies or other lives, that unless we take carbon out of our atmosphere and our processes, we have no future, believe me. Last year, I was in Delhi for a CSR meeting, and I just went out of the AC room, and it was like I'm put in a fire. I read somewhere next day, it was 52 degrees. So somebody, our IMD said, no, that was a wrong reading. Right? And everybody can read the temperature on their mobile phone. Whatever it is, it was very, very hot. This year it will be hotter than last year, so be prepared. Don't move without hat. Put the burqa, Pune ladies are known for that, putting all those, they cover their faces, mouth. Even if a husband goes by, he will never recognize he was his wife or sister or daughter, because they are always covered like terrorists, But do that this year, because weather is going to be very severe. Okay? So climate change, net zero is not the solution, net negative. That means you have to take carbon out of our fuel system, carbon from the atmosphere. So the tomorrow's technologies are very, very challenging. Okay, very, very challenging. So first thing is, sometimes you might have heard these 3 R's, right? Recycle, reduce, right? Reuse. I say 5 R's. 5 R's. First R is refuse. If you refuse something, you have contributed to the environmental protection. Like suppose there is a water bottle. You have not kept a water bottle here. It is there. Okay. Oh, glass bottle. So that is again wrong. Glass is more polluting than plastic. 1600 degrees Celsius, NOx, SOx, everything. So this is again another stupidity which is going on in society. They think glass bottle means we are stopping pollution, and plastic bottle means creating pollution. Again another stupid idea. I will tell you what should be done. Okay? Sorry to use that word stupid, but what I am saying stupid because it will impress upon your mind that Professor Yadav said stupid. Okay? So I am saying about this World Meteorological Organization. What happened? Because they are monitoring temperature every day. So I showed that statistics in my slide. That is, there is a CO2 site. Every day they give the temperature. Every day they give the CO2 concentration. So the 1.5 degrees Celsius temperature rise is not 2100 but 2027. So now you can do research. What kind of seeds, cereals, species, plants, everything should be grown which is heat tolerant. The monsoons are changing, everything is changing, so you have to modify this. Maybe genetically you do it or something else, right? So that danger is, and that is what we were thinking, that we have enough time, few decades before we do it. No, it is, unfortunately it is coming so close. So this is 2027, we will bridge that. This news came on May 18, 2023. So, since people talk about net zero and sustainability, I will give some ideas, and I will talk on some of those ideas because I have a time of 1 hour, right? And you must be hungry by that time. Okay, so let me give you. Hydrogen. Hydrogen is going to be the savior of the world. And hydrogen doesn't come free. There is no free hydrogen in the atmosphere. It reacts immediately. So hydrogen, green hydrogen in that will be the savior. And I will give you why it is going to be the savior. Then carbon dioxide, I mentioned to you, carbon dioxide, if there is no crude oil, carbon dioxide will be our fuel. Carbon dioxide refineries, I wrote some articles on that. Carbon dioxide can be converted into, for example, methane, LPG, methanol, dimethyl ether, formic acid, ethylene, polyethylene, and many other things. So carbon dioxide will be our feedstock, not the crude oil. So that is net negative. That is net negative when we take that carbon. Decarbonization, every sector of the economy must be decarbonized. So for example, this light is there, right? Some lights are not working, doing jug, 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 jug. This light, do you know from where it is coming? Which is the source of this electricity? You don't know it is. Whether it is a carbon or renewable or whatever, you don't know. Correct? We don't know. So so sometimes we are very, enamored by the fact I have electric vehicle, EV. That means I am not polluting, right? That is the simple, right? But if that electricity is produced by using coal, it is CV, not EV. There may not be pollution in your city, but somewhere else, because we are looking at globe. The carbon dioxide is generated somewhere else, not in your factory or in your car. So decarbonization, biomass valorization. Since you are a biological sciences school, you can play with biomass like anything. Biomass is highly functional at so many chiral centers and whatnot, so you can defunctionalization of biomass is going to be one of the greatest areas of research, okay? And that you can do by many means, because as I told you earlier, chemical, biological. Solid waste management. You go anywhere in India, we have Swachh Bharat, we have cess also, but you will see everything is dirtied. And our Indian habit, my house should be very clean, and I throw it in the neighbor's backyard. Right? We take it out of the house, throw it outside, let nature do it. So when somebody talks about biodegradation, all again they are missing point. What is biodegradation? That means you pollute it, and the nature should take care of your pollution and degrade the material to carbon dioxide and whatever. Again, wrong idea, right? So refuse. If you yourself do not do it, then the nature, why nature should do it? Earlier nature had the capacity, over-exhausted. Nature cannot do anything. The microbial degradation, when you study, there are 4 mechanisms by which it happens. Okay? We are talking photolysis, hydrolysis, oxidation, and microbial degradation. And how microbes do that? Microbes take the oxygen from the air, insert into that molecule, make oxides, epoxides and whatnot, and that is how the degradation process starts. Since polythene does not have any double bond, free double bond, it cannot do it, so it remains there for hundreds of years. So when we say biodegradable, bioplastic does not mean biodegradable, remember that. Bioplastic means the origin is biology, means biomass. Not all bioplastics are biodegradable, only few of them. And that plastic which has oxygen content already there in the polymer, that can degrade faster than polythene. Solid waste management. 50% of our waste in municipality, I don't know how much Pune is producing, Mumbai 9,000 tons a day, similar Kolkata, Madras and Chennai and Delhi. 50% of that is carbon, food. So we remember how much food we waste. 50% is food. That can be our resource. We can make hydrogen from that, we can make fertilizer, you can ferment, make all sorts of things. That is a very big source for generating chemicals, fuels and materials. 10 to 12% is plastic in that municipal solid waste, MSW. Then other things, metals, glass, all other things are there in that municipal solid waste. And what is the idea tomorrow's world? Zero waste society. Can we create a zero waste society? Try on your campus. Your authorities have gone already, okay? I would have told them, try on your campus to make zero waste campus. Zero waste campus. Have a challenge. Can you make zero waste campus? Okay, that is very interesting. So solid waste management. Waste plastic recycling. So now I will come to that, because you put this glass bottle here. Why? Because you think that people will pollute this. Why do you pollute it? Tell me. Why do you pollute? Why the plastic bottle is polluted? Any answer? No, neighborhood, no, you can keep it in your home also. But why? Why do you think it is polluting? Because everybody in society thinks plastic is polluting. I don't. Because it is free. If there was a deposit on that bottle of 20 rupees, you will steal your neighbor's bottle also, get it, refund your bottle. Take that 20 rupees. Anything free in the world is not appreciated. To go to any marriage, any birthday party, anywhere, food is free, right? So you take bigger plate also. You say that tomorrow I will not cook at home, but I will take more food here. It is free. And you don't like the taste, although the fellows make very nice, delicious, looking at least, it looks very nice. But the taste is horrible. And every marriage there are, if you don't give this Malaysian, Thai and Chinese and Italian and what, your marriage is not good. The ladies will comment privately, अरे क्या बनवत, कसला लग्न आहे, आम्हाला चांगलं जेवण पण मिळालं नाही. You will say that, right? Why? Because Yeah, because it's a free food. But supposing, I'll give you this idea, if your daughter or son is going to get married or somebody is getting married in a family, put nice dishes, but in front of that put a bowl, okay, bowl. And write there, Madam and Sir, if you like this dish, put 100 rupees there. I can assure you your wife will not allow you to touch it. Because she knows you never eat at home, but because it is free, you take it more. She will also put one extra scoop on your plate because it is free. But if that thing is there, you will not touch it, you will save the food, right? And ultimately collect that, cash from in the bowl and give it to the bride and groom. That is the gift, marriage gift. So point what I am making, why plastic pollution is there? Because it is free. So if there was a deposit, you will return it, take your money back. That becomes segregation at source. In waste management treatment, 80% of the cost is segregation cost. So like the newspaper boy, he comes to your home and drops the newspaper, right? Do you ever throw the newspaper outside in the neighbor's backyard? No, you keep it. You store it. Many times, the value of that raddi is more than the content inside. The content may be useless, but you get more money for the raddi, right? You sell it and get. So housewife will collect it and sell. So I am telling the government, have a policy where even the plastic pouch, which is the milk pouch, right? Suppose it is 50 rupees liter milk, make it 70 rupees liter. You return that pouch, take your 20 rupees back. And we have digital technology. We have RFID and whatnot, okay, barcodes. So that can be recycled. So depolymerization of plastic using chemical processes, physical processes, biological processes, you can generate hydrocarbons. You can generate new molecules. It is called upcycling, recycling, downcycling. You can reduce the pollution. So plastic is not bad. The users are bad. And why they are bad? Because the government policy is like that. So I always say that if you want to be a great nation, the government policy must be very good. It must be encouraging our industries to take these problems, our educational institutions and all not. And that is the way to move ahead. Policy makes everything. Okay, we might devise something in the lab, but water is a privilege. Remember, water is a privilege. Now Pakistan has come to know that. Right? They have come to know. Because, why we require water? Because water is required to make green hydrogen. It is required to have oxygen, which is a co-product of, making hydrogen. And that both hydrogen and oxygen are required in depolymerization and also biomass upgradation to chemicals, fuels and materials. So once again, water. So conservation of water, recycle of water, where municipal solid waste, the gutter water which is going to the sewage. I'll tell you one interesting story. In Mumbai, the Mumbai sewage goes to RCF, BPCL, HPCL. They don't get additional water, so they have to recover that water from them and use it in the refineries. Or RO processes, you can take the seawater. Now what is happening there? So one fine morning, municipal fellows became smart. They said, instead of this 50 paise liter, we want to sell it at 1.5 rupees a liter. It is you are creating waste. Your gutters are filled, right? And some industry is using it. You become smart. You say, they came to me, sir, please give us a solution. So I had to intervene. I said, no, this is stupidity. They are taking care of your pollution. They are processing that sewage and convert it into value. They are processing that, all that, because the sewage is, so much of BOD, COD and whatnot. So this is what happens. So water is a privilege. So recycle, reuse, rainwater harvesting, all those things are important for us because water will give me green hydrogen, and green hydrogen can be used to process all these hydrocarbon, the biomass to convert it into something else. Okay? So water is a privilege. So 9 kilo of water are required to produce 1 kilo of hydrogen and 8 kilo of oxygen. The cost of oxygen is 15 cents a kilo, commercial scale. So hydrogen, right? So this is where the tomorrow's world is going to be hydrogen economy. So again, sustainability, net zero. So circular economy and recycle. So many times, chemical engineering students, our ICT fellows also, sir, is there a scope? Everybody thinks data analytics, computer science and engineering has a scope. Other things we have no scope. How many of you think like that? Raise your hands. No, not just because you are a biological student. You can raise your hands, you still believe that. So I was called to address some IIT students. I went to one IIT. They said, sir, please address our students. I said, okay, I will address them. So I took my mobile phone, I raised it. I said, yeah, you will model it, systems engineering, you will have, all sorts of programming, this and that, correct? You are happy, computer science and engineering. Top 100 students go to only 2 IITs. That is also computer science and engineering. Others don't, and some IITs second, grade, second level rather, not grade, IITs don't find. Top 500 students don't go to them. So they were worried and they called me. They said, sir, can you suggest something? I said, this mobile phone is the best example. This has got 30 inorganic oxides, carbonates, silicon, gallium arsenide, polymers, everything, and so many metals which are used there. If we don't produce, what are you going to program? So that has to be told by the professors in the classroom. All disciplines are important and not only one. They are interdependent. So, in today's world, there are only 2 sciences. There are 2 sciences. Science of the dead and science of the living. You are working in the science of living, right? Your school. All others are dead science. There is no life. And so that the so-called boundaries of science have totally disappeared because of this. So we have all processes, chemical, biological, physical, nuclear, to deal with these matters. Some of that is life, some of that is in. So I was asking your Professor Pandey, do you do some research on stem cell? Do you find some scope in that? Do you do mathematical modeling? Do you do docking studies and then go to the lab and develop that molecule, So don't think every discipline is important, because every discipline contributes to new knowledge, and that new knowledge should be for the benefit of society. That is what science is, because science always talks truth, right? Nothing but truth. Satyam bravimi, I will speak truth, as they say in Sanskrit. So science is truth. So circular economy, recycle engineering, everything has to be recycled. Otherwise, we'll require 3 more Earths in the linear economy. 3 more Earths. So, for example, you go to a deity and there are so many fellows bringing floral bouquets and all. What do they do of that? Why can't they think of recycling it, taking some perfumes out of it, some colors out of it? That is what is required, right? So, systems engineering, that is systems engineering. So you take everything as a system, only useful materials go inside, useful materials comes outside, and whatever else is there, co-product, byproduct is recycled. That is recycle engineering, systems engineering, and last but not least, for your importance, biotechnology. So tomorrow's processes will not be just chemical technology, physical, it will be biotechnology. Most of the drugs will be produced like that. So biology is coming to the fore. So I was the chairman of a government committee in 2012, and the Maharashtra government asked me to give a report why there are so many vacancies, why students go to one particular branch and what not other, and wrote a very nice report on that. I'm telling you that I said biology must be taught to all engineering students. That is my recommendation. Biology must be taught to all engineering students, because you are talking about DNA computing all without understanding what is DNA. Correct? Civil engineers can use it. Mechanical engineers, biocompatible materials. Electrical engineers, actually you know that electrical engineering started with biology, the sensors inside, almost 250 years, but nobody believes that. Nobody believes that. So that is the issue, okay? So then, you know, this day you open any channel, go to any television channel, right? Some Baba, Buwa, Buvin, somebody is sitting there and say, Baba, think positive, right? That is what they say, right? I'm saying think negative. I'm exact opposite of the Buwa. What I'm thinking, think of negative. What is that negative? That is carbon negative energy sources and material neutrality. Nothing is waste, believe me, nothing is waste. So if you say the waste has a value, then you will value it. So tomorrow's world, Bhangarwala will have the best days. And that's a good business, huh? Don't think if some of you start Bhangarwala business, it's a good business because you can make money, use your knowledge and convert that into something which is useful to the society. Ultimately, that is the use of science, right? So we have to think of that. Nothing is waste. Nothing is waste. So because we call waste has a zero value, we throw it. Have you ever seen any housewife throwing the thick bag, plastic bag in which she buys her sari, throwing out? No, she will keep it. So sometimes people say, oh, take cotton bag. Cotton is also processed by using chemicals. Jute also requires chemicals. So people have been, misguided by our NGOs. What they should say that you don't create pollution. Think of material recyclability, think of circular economy and all that. Okay, that is the message which I want to go through my. So remember, some of these statistics are very interesting, but I may not show you all slides. By the time I would have told many things without looking at the slide. So remember, when we are talking about net zero, I told you what is the meaning of net zero, that emissions, only 73% countries of the world have a net zero goal. Others do not, meaning thereby either they are very, very poor or they are thinly populated or they don't have technology, those 27% countries. 73% countries. CO2 emissions. 25% is China. China is far ahead of us in terms of technology development. You may hate them, but China is far ahead of us. 12% is United States. 7% is European Union. European Union will have all sorts of laws, regulations and whatnot. Okay? 29% is the rest of the world, in which India is also included. And India's contribution to CO2 emissions of about 8%. Okay? So look at this. United States have always been polluting because they use these hydrocarbons, so-called fracking, and Donald Trump says drill belly drill, right? You might have heard that, drill baby drill. Because what he said, we must have cheap energy. He says it is your responsibility not to pollute or anything. So in our country also, all these PSUs, the so-called hydrocarbon PSUs, BPCL, HPCL, Indian Oil, Oil India, all those companies, Navaratna company, you know what they have said? They will become carbon neutral. Now they are dealing with carbon. It's like, a fellow who is selling liquor says, I will not drink liquor. Correct? So how are they going to do it? So what it means that their objective, for instance, Indian Oil, because I'm the advisor to them, one of them said that by 2046 we will have carbon neutral. That means whatever hydrocarbon they are selling in the form of petrol, diesel, that is going to create carbon dioxide. They will say they will have technology to take care of that carbon dioxide. That is what I told you in the beginning. Carbon capture, sequestration, utilization. So carbon dioxide becomes a feedstock for chemicals. That is what they mean. So here that India is number 4 in this. EU is above us. So what is our contribution? 2.622. Okay. gigatons, that is billion tons. India produces so much of carbon dioxide. And this is only from hydrocarbon sources. And so I have another slide where I will show you that. Look, so what is the meaning of that? So if you want to have net zero, the carbon dioxide emission should not be more than 10 billion tons across the world, or 10 gigatons. And what is our this thing? We will show those numbers. You see that? See those numbers, very interesting. Last year we had 37.41 gigatons of carbon dioxide, so it is increasing. That is why that so-called net zero goal by 2100 is violated. We are going to have more carbon dioxide coming, and that is why we have this atmospheric changes and temperature and whatnot. Sunday I was in Nagpur, temperature was 46 degrees. Unbearable. So that is what we have to look at this, So 1.5 degree means, meaning thereby, don't use carbon as a fuel. Renewable energy, solar energy, wind energy, hydro energy, nuclear energy. Say nuclear energy is carbon free, but people are afraid of nuclear energy. Right? So that is the perception. So how perception changes. So in the year 1910, around that, the ladies, US ladies from the state of New Jersey had a procession. They went to the governor's home and said, stop X-ray use, because they started using X-rays, right? They were using it for medical diagnosis. They said, that is objectionable, that is depriving the woman of their modesty, so X-ray should not, these guys are seeing through our body. So they had a great time rather difficult time to convince society that X-rays are good for your, now you cannot have any hospital without X-ray, correct? So perception was what? So perception matters, and who creates the perception? So what happened during World War II? Already Nagasaki, Hiroshima, everything that they had bombed it, so people were afraid of nuclear energy. So they thought, oh God, this is a big problem. Society will not accept this nuclear magnetic resonance, So they dropped the N and made it MRI. So every hospital has MRI. But it actually a nuclear magnetic, right? The nuclear word was dropped because society would be against nuclear word. So remember, so what message you give to the society, you have to be careful. What you talk about have to be careful, because when you tell your students, it has to be factual, but it has to be also a convincing argument. So they stopped that word, and that is why all hospitals have MRI. Society doesn't know. You tell somebody, hey, don't do it MRI because it is nuclear. They will listen to you? No. So yeah, this is what happens. So for achieving the net zero, we have to take care of carbon out of our system. So even if you are using, say, electric vehicle, that electricity should be produced by renewable energy. Solar energy, wind energy, nuclear energy, hydro energy, geothermal energy, wind, tidal and whatnot. So that also created a problem, because solar energy is renewable. Our goal, India's goal is to have 500 gigawatt by 2030. So I am telling the government, because I advised some of the committees, I said, why not 700? We should export green energy rather than importing crude oil. Okay, green energy. So we are not even crossed 200 gigawatt, okay, but which is both solar and wind. Solar and wind. What happened in the year 2000, around that time, everybody went for this solar energy. So you have solar panels, you have photovoltaics. It requires materials, right? It requires materials. They have a life of only 25 years old, maximum. Now millions and million tons of this is lying as waste. So what should be your research? How do I recover this? How do I recover this material, reuse it? Okay? And there are rare earths in that. Same is the case with wind energy. The wind blade can be 240 meters long. It requires magnets to generate electricity. Praseodymium and neodymium and all those deadly combinations of spellings, right? They have to be reused, recovered. So what it means, you cannot think, so recycle is going to be the biggest business. So what I am telling, sometimes we are very idealistic. We will use the best of the chemical, highly pure, analytical grade, NLR grade chemical from this company and that company. But in 2047, we want to be Vikasit Bharat, correct? The advanced nation. So what is the advanced nation idea? We should be as big or as economically powerful as some of the world's greatest economies, whether it is US and China, and we say we'll be number 3 or number 2. So my advice is what? Think that you are number 2. What will be your level of income? What kind of facilities you will have? Then come back to 2025. Change your syllabus. Change your government policy. Change everything. Then only it is possible. Not otherwise. You extrapolate from here to there, you will go somewhere else. What will be our population? 167 crore Indians. 167 crore. We are already taken over China. And so their energy needs, material needs, housing needs, transportation, name it. We will decide the world's economy. India will decide the world's economy. There will be many people who are octogenarian, nonagenarian, centurion, and they will have all sorts of diseases, Parkinson, Alzheimer, cancer, name it. What is the biggest decision you have? Disease will be there, you know that? Anybody? No, you don't. Depression. Depression will be the biggest killer because people would not know what to do with the extra life. Right? They will not know. बायको म्हणते घरी कशाला बसलात तुम्ही? Why are you sitting at home? Go and work. So believe me, those people who take it as a retired life, they don't live longer. Huh? Politicians never die early. They are always working, correct? On working, so their mind is kept alive. So don't retire. That is what I am telling people. Go on working. Do. Change your, profession. Maybe your habits. Change something. Just go. Don't go and sit in the park and what nonsense. That means you are not doing anything. Your wife also thinks you are useless. Because what do you do at home? You sit there and bring me a cup of tea. She's fed up of you. Every now and then you are demanding cup of tea. Correct? So keep working. Keep working. So, and therefore depression will be number 1 killer in the world. Then Alzheimer, Parkinson, cancer and whatnot, heart attack. So we have many areas in healthcare industry and material industry and whatnot, whether it is biomaterials, biocompatible, everything there. Sky is the limit for doing research. So change the field. Every 5 years you should change the field. Do something else. Correct? काळेच होता इकडनं आले बघा इथनं DG होते ते. He was a DG in CMED, and now he is here. It's another career. You should do that. Because brain doesn't die. It is you make your brain die. Correct? Have you seen that? So these nonagenarians, octogenarians, all these people, they will have different types of diseases. Only problem in today is because we are isolated. We are living in silos. Kids are in America, some old fellows are sitting in Pune. They don't even talk. Am I right? You're from Pune? No, you're not from Pune, okay. But this is what is happening. Society is changing because we have become materialistic, and therefore our needs of energy, materials, everything is changing. So that is this 5R circular economy, recycle engineering. Refuse, repurpose, reduce, reuse and recycle engineering. Okay? So recycle engineering. So when you are doing research, don't do with pure chemicals. Recycle material. So in 2047, India wants to be Vikasit, we have to think of recycle. Will this affect my catalytic efficiency, selectivity and whatnot? Because it is impure. So today you may use 10%. You say right, 10% plastic is used. Some plastic is used in the road making and things like that. You have to think 100% is recycled in 2047. So I have to change my strategies of doing research. Nothing pure will be available, material-wise, energy-wise, everything recycled. So that is what is going to happen. So what it means? Incentivize. We have to incentivize society to reusing it. Old time now, the ladies never threw the clothes. They will make some godadi or something. It's the rural area, ladies. My mother was totally uneducated, Anguta Chap, but I taught her how to read, write. So after my PhD, I went with my thesis. I said, at least I should show my mother I have become a doctorate. She doesn't know anything, believe me. I went and said, Ayi, baga, take this. So, she doesn't know English, she doesn't know diagram, she just went on flipping through. And you know what she told me? You are an expensive kid. So I was surprised. Instead of appreciating, she's giving me advice. She said, why you did not type on the back side? Why you have kept it? You would have reduced the thesis by half. Right? This is common sense. Native intelligence. Native intelligence, right? She told me this. I've never forgotten that. She said, how to economize? You should know this. So this is what happens. So it doesn't mean that those who are from villages, they are not intelligent. They are more intelligent than these city fellows. Okay. So in other words, government policy and practical incentives matter in every decision. Whether you want to do research or do something for the society. So I was telling your Pro-Vice Chancellor, do you have a translational center? So if you have doing research, can you translate into something, some technology? So he did something which is wrong. I'm sorry, he should have been here. He said publish and patent. No. My formula 3P is different. Patent, publish and become prosper. First you should patent. And Government of India now is helping all academics to patent free. Last year our patent department sanctioned 1 lakh patents. 1 lakh patents. So then you publish. Then people will know, because only patents don't make you famous. Then you have to publish and also then prosper, translate it. So translational research. So if you are doing any research, he said a very nice idea. He said he's giving you some notebook and you have to write something, right? I tell my students same thing. I may not be in the office. You can cheat me, but you cannot cheat yourself. Correct? You write now what you did. You write, I went to the canteen and relaxed whole day. I'm not going to kill you. I have not killed anybody so far. But be honest to yourself that you did not do anything and therefore you are responsible for finishing the PhD on time, writing the paper. I get up every day at 4 o'clock in the morning to do my work. If I can do it even now, why you cannot do it? Because you are thinking that, sir is not there. Oh, okay, chalo, let us go and watch a movie. No, you have to be responsible what you do. Whether your supervisor is around or not, you must do your research, write it, write faithfully, write as you observe. Don't write last sentence, I did it before first. In research, it is chronology. The way in which you add materials, chemicals, whatever, the same way you did in the lab should be recorded in the notebook. Not I forgot to write this. So even if you are misinterpreted it, somebody else can interpret your data. And also reproducibility, right? Reproducibility. So I did 2 journals. I'm editor-in-chief. One journal, I got so many docking fellows. I don't know what they are doing. Every paper is docking paper. If you read it now, there is nothing there. But they have used a very glorious word, docking. So I think what we should understand is while doing research, why are we doing that? What is the value of this research to society? Sometimes you may get a degree, right? But does it worth it? What you have done. Do not cheat yourself. You can cheat your supervisor, you can cheat your authorities, but you can never cheat yourself. In research, honesty matters the great. So many articles were withdrawn. One, I will not name those two guys, India. 43 papers were withdrawn of that fellow. What is the use of, what was he doing? 43, that means he's a cheat, right? He's been cheating only, and he attained some high position. What nonsense. So this is, in science, you cannot cheat. You can cheat your supervisor, but you cannot cheat yourself. So it is a disgrace, don't do that. In biological sciences, reproducibility is the most important part of it. It is all statistical, right? The bugs sometimes misbehave. They don't behave the way in which you want them to behave. There is no reproducibility. So you'll have to give statistical answer, right? You can fit any equation to any data, just spread, you show spread and the line goes through it, right? On either side 50% data. R square value, my R square is 0.95, so I'm very happy. No, don't do that. Give a critical analysis of the data. It may be wrong data, but you got it and you say it is wrong. That is contribution. Contribution does not mean that it has to be only correct. So sometimes we do reactions, right? Reaction engineering. Sir, I got only 70%. So I was hoping to get 90%. I tell them, who told you that it should be 70 or 90? Can you interpret it? Why you got it? If you can interpret what you got, that is the contribution, not 70 or 80. So sometimes we have false ideas in our minds, and the professors must tell the student, create any data so long as we analyze it and come to a conclusion. Our conclusion may be wrong, but somebody else can reinterpret it. So these days all journals are asking credit author statement. Whose contribution is what? If there are more than 10 number of authors, that is looked at suspicion, because I know that is a journal policy. We try to screen those data. And not only that, sometimes there are surrogate authors. He is a friend sitting there. He has nothing to do with that. Put her name. Are friend hai, मावशीची मुलगी आहे, चला देऊन टाकू. Many people do that. So you know what happened? I accepted one paper. The paper was from Pakistan, okay? Sorry to mention that name, but they, and that was accepted. The author writes to me, sir, I want to add 2 more authors. Who are they? Saudi Arabia and another country, Saudi. So I asked them, why do you want to add them? No, sir, they help us with funding and they reinterpreted our data. When I said, in your original manuscript, there is no mention of funding. And you have given an undertaking to me that I have mentioned all the funders. Now all of a sudden, from where does the funder come? That also after the paper is accepted. I said, your paper will be rejected. Will not be accepted. Then that person writes to me, sir, please pardon us this time. So this is because Saudi Arabia rich fellows put their names, so will they get well money? These unethical practices. So putting these surrogate authors in some of the institutions in India. So one director, we were interviewing somebody for a director's position. He has 50 papers, all open access. One open access is $3,500, right? I said, you are a government lab, 50 paper open access, from where did you get this money? You know what he said? No, I did not pay. I said, who paid? The student paid? Or some author paid? There are 7-8 authors on your paper. If you cannot own your own paper, you are not fit to be a director. You are rejected. Just now I am telling on your face, you will never be considered as a director. I had to tell him on the face. Because he was dishonest. How can you say that I have 50 open access but I have not paid for it? Then who paid it? Somebody has paid, right? I won't go into the, I think my time is up, right? Almost? It is almost up, right? So I'm going to stop here. We have many slides. I will not go through it, but I will tell you what I have done there. I also said that in my further slides, that why carbon should not be used as a fuel, why bioethanol should not be used as a fuel, From ethanol, I can make ethylene, I can make 11 big chemicals, bulk chemicals, 19 specialty chemicals. If I burn, then it is carbon dioxide. It may be carbon neutral, but that is not the idea. I have told about solar panels. I have talked about batteries. Okay, batteries, you know, batteries, when this electric vehicle, EV battery, when their life goes down to 80%, they are useless, so they can be used as storage batteries. China has biggest business in that. 9% rate, $45 billion business, $45 billion. USA 6%, 27 billion. So you can imagine, that's what I told you sometime back, Bhangarwala has the best life. And then also talked about electrolyzers. What is happening? And we developed some technology, green hydrogen technology, based on thermochemical process. We say we can produce hydrogen in less than $1. So all those stories were there, and our pilot plant picture is shown. We are running this program in Goa, and also 26 companies showed interest in our technology. We have signed agreements with them because I said that developing technology is one of the best challenges. And I want to be an industrialist. You only believe me? I want to be an industrialist. So why not, have some startup companies take equity and become rich also and help society? Because tomorrow's world is startup. We must have many unicorns, and sum up you can do that. So if you have gone to ICT, all the posters I have made on my computer and printed. So one of the posters, as you go through the first floor, I said, the rich, the poor, the marginal, the privileged, the underprivileged, they all studied here. Underestimate not who you could be. Do not underestimate yourself. You could be a star. Do not go and tell your neighbors, I was SSC first. What are you today? That matters. We can be proud of our past, but that does not ensure your future. You have to work to get to that new goal with new, renewed, rejuvenated enthusiasm, because enthusiasm in that 3E, okay, enthusiasm is number one. If you are not enthusiastic, you don't love what you do, you cannot be successful. Sometimes, the common room gossips I don't know whether ladies you do it or not, but, she's also a professor, I'm also a professor, but she's producing papers, so, you are doing income only, just sitting there and, weaving something, right? No, she might be smarter than you. So why are you thinking that you cannot do that? You can also do that, because you are not loving your profession. 9 to 5 is no longer a profession. You have to be embedded in that. You have to be already in that. Then only you can succeed. Even if you become a jhaduwala, become the number one jhaduwala. That is what my wife always told my kids. Even if you become jhaduwala, I will not be unhappy, but be number one jhaduwala. Of course, they did PhD and all that. That's a different matter. But what I'm trying to tell you, do not underestimate yourself. You are capable of doing it, and you can do it. Right? So, our Prime Minister always said, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. That is from Maha-Upanishad. Ayam nija paro neti ganana lagu chetasam budara charitanam tu Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. A small-minded person thinks, this is mine, that is yours. But a large-hearted person says, the universe is ours, so let us work for the universe. That is when we will have sustainability. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, you can ask me.
Thank you so much, sir, for the enlightening talk. We now open the floor for a couple of questions. So, you may raise your hands if you have any question. We'll pass on the mic to you.
Yeah, please.
So I am a PhD scholar. I am working on microplastic degradation. So as you said, that recycle should be the only option. But what about the plastic which has already
Very good question. Very good question.
common? So it should be, it should vanish from the society. And I am working on bacteria. Actually, I have got also from river. I have isolated few bacteria. But now after listening to your question, I think that is it a waste of time doing so much of work and then
No, can I flip through my slides? I will just flip through my slides, okay? Just look at the slides. Sorry, this is the way. This is first. No, this way. Okay, I was showing this to you. Okay, I will tell you something. You see, this is where I stopped. So next slide is this. Recycle engineering. You look at this. Waste to wealth, solid, liquid, gas. I told you this. System engineering, nothing is waste. You have to recycle, reuse. Then the different types of hydrogen, brown, gray, blue, turquoise, green, pink, and there is white hydrogen also, which is natural hydrogen. Okay. Then hydrogen demand. Okay, this is so hydrogen economy will be the great economy. I've given this. Then what we do with solar energy, wind energy, biomass, and how to create hydrogen. We are promoting our farmers to make hydrogen from biomass. So that is one of the things. And then I have given all sorts of information. And this is very interesting slide. You know, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. That is solar, wind, and hydrogen. Hydrogen will be the savior. He is prime Devas. Devas is a Sanskrit word meaning deity, God. Okay? So green hydrogen will be the savior of the world. Then this is what our power ministry said. Water and air will be our feedstock. Very simple. Okay? And then this is, in 2050, 73% of the energy will be renewable. Solar, wind, hydro, nuclear. Okay, and I've been telling our government that we should produce 10,000 terawatt hours, 20%. Then electrolyzers. Okay, Dr. Kale was in that area, so you can, what sort of difficulties are there in electrolyzers, and then this, what should be done, production, transportation, transformation, and end use of hydrogen. Hydrogen can be produced from any waste biomass. Then from lignocellulosic biomass, so lignin should not be burned, that's what I'm saying. Then gasification of biomass, all sorts of things are given. Then syngas, you make syngas, carbon monoxide and hydrogen, we can produce all sorts of chemicals, okay? So we did also ourselves now, we have got some patents on that, bioalcohols. Then this is our work, where we develop this technology called ICT, OEC. So this is $1 a kilo, and so this is US DOE says 111. That is $1, 1 kilo, 1 decade. Okay, and the commercial is 2 to 2.25. This slide gives entire gamut of our work which we did in UDCT, ICT, and this is what we are doing. All these things we have patented many of those things, and the green ammonia. This is our pilot plant in Goa, okay, IPSM Goa. These are my students, and this last year the minister also visited our plant. This, I won't go into the details of this. This is all engineering in our and this is where, we compared our cycle with the published one, and the Honorable Nitin Gadkari mentioned this in the Rajya Sabha that we have done those work because he had seen it. So CO2 refineries, I said many things we can do, CO2 to methanol and whatnot, dimethyl ether. Dimethyl ether is a good substitute for, you can do all sorts of chemistry. So methanol economy, dimethyl ether, okay, they will be our feedstock of tomorrow. And you see how many things I can make from methanol, all sorts of things I can make. So carbon dioxide can be used to make this. Then dimethyl ether. These are the integrated technology which we develop in ICT. So CO2 to methane and higher hydrocarbons, CO2 to dimethyl ether, CO2 to methanol. Now we are building a 5 tons per day pilot plant. And then this is what I said, why waste money on bioethanol? It is good for some time because we want to reduce the import bill. But 1 kilo of crude oil gives me 32 megajoule, 0.2 kg chemicals, but 1 kilo of biomass only gives me 6 megajoule or 0.8 kg. So we said, based on that 97.4 million barrels a day, we calculated this, we have published also. So biomass conversion to biofuels is a bad idea. Okay, that's what I'm trying to tell you. So instead of that, why burn it? So you can make ethanol and ethylene, and we make this. The carbon should not be burned. Then plastics. Now I'm coming to your question. We produce a lot of plastic and wasted, right? Because of the policy. But henceforth we can stop it. We were saved by plastic during this COVID. At least agree to that. But don't throw it. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So this is. So we did some analysis. So single-use plastic, which is banned, should not be banned. Policy should be there. Like Donald Trump said, he will allow plastic straw. So I was in USA. I said, only mistake he did. He should have said, 1 straw, $1 refundable. You will recycle it, right? So plastic ban is not the solution. Like wherever there is a ban, more liquor is sold in Gujarat and Bihar. There is a ban. Ban means people think of bad ideas of how to use it. Ban is not. Better technology is the solution. Okay? So this ban is not a solution. So plastic pollution, since we are talking about this is what I told you in the newspaper by coming to you. So microplastic and things like that. So if you develop some bugs, be friendly with the bugs and make them work.
Actually, I have isolated the bacteria from river waters in Pune itself, and one lake from.
But you know that this environmental engineering in your area, how do you isolate by? So I was a consultant to a company. I went to them, to their factory in Gujarat, and they had the biological lab. I said, have you isolated these bugs? You dig down in your factory. Nature has its own of degrading chemicals, which are their pollutants. You isolate and cultivate those bacteria in your lab, and then you will be rich. In fact, they cultivated and they took care of that problem. So that is the way to do it. So this is Bhangarwala, I showed you. Okay, also waste, zero waste society. So this is plastic pollution, chemical recycling, how many things I can make, see, and plastic ban. Plastic article leads to pollution, but actually this is what should be done. Refundable deposit on each plastic, chemical waste, plastic recycling. These are the things which we are doing in my lab. Some of my PhD students are still doing it. Glycolysis, hydrolysis, aminolysis. So this is, of course, we develop some theory. But hydrogenation, why I'm saying hydrogen is severe? I can hydrogenate any plastic mixture. So how do I do it? So this is in the next slide. So PVC, PET, polyamides, rubber, these technologies are already known. I make all hydrocarbons which will become feedstock for chemicals. So waste plastic recycling, this is from one of my research papers, So this is petroleum refinery versus, see, one is functionalization, another is defunctionalization. So what you do, biologists will do that. So burning is not the solution. 100 million tons we burn. So this is, look, stubble burning is a back problem. So what I'm saying, I'm telling our government, in fact I gave a lecture here in the Vasantdada Sugar Institute. Make farmers agri-waste societies like sugar factories. Compact it, densify it, and take it somewhere else. It can be converted into whether it is biological, physical, chemical, into useful products. So densification is the solution. Okay, that is, so farmers waste to waste biomass cooperative society. And that I told you water as a privilege. And then how many things we can do. See, this is your area. Biologists, look how many things we can make, from glucose, xylose, and all these lignin products. So this is circular economy, no, part of that. See how many things I can make from cellulose, hemicellulose, lignin. This is the I've written articles, and this is one of my articles where I wrote this, how C5, C6 sugars can give me chemicals, okay? And look how many chemicals we can make from sugars, okay? So municipal solid waste, lignin, livolinic acid, okay? All sorts of things, glycerol as a feedstock, biodiesel, glycerol is 10%, then furan chemistry, and all sorts of things we can do, okay? Solar panel recycling, I told you already. Wind blade, this magnets, battery recycling also I told you, circular economy, and steel industry, highly polluting. So we can use green hydrogen there. And the hydrogen is safer than fossil fuels. And these are 5R, which I mentioned. And this is what I'd say. This was my conclusion. So thank you very much. That I thought I should. Well, I just flipped through the slides so that I feel happy I've shown the slides. And you get some idea, right? You get an idea, because if you are sharp, you will get idea from even one slide which is shown there for a fraction of a second. That is a smart student. All right. Thank you. Now your question is solved.
That means it should be a collaborative research. I am a microbiologist. I am degrading. So my bacteria is degrading plastic into microplastics like PET and PS I have taken. So more area should come along with this. Then only the plastic pollution problem.
Transdisciplinary, multidisciplinary, all areas, no area of sciences. I never studied biology, but I did a lot of work in biology, believe me. Because I did mathematics.
You did worked in biology, right?
Yeah, no, I work in that area, but I'm not a biologist. But I studied, I had to study for survival.
I'm telling that
Yeah.
to solve a problem. Thank you, sir.
Yes, that is correct. Anybody else?
Sir, you mentioned that even if you become Jhaduwala, become number one Jhaduwala. You're a chemical engineer, you became number one chemical engineer. Why chemistry? What fascinates you about chemical?
Actually, good question. When I was, in my inter science that time, it was 11 and 2 years before we go to engineering. Chemical engineering was number one branch. All these new petrochemical industries had come. So everybody went to chemical engineering, like people are going for, and I loved chemistry and mathematics. So I said, why not chemical engineering? So I got selected into IIT Bombay. Accidentally, I go for one marriage the previous day. Somebody from Vijay meets me there. He was in my school ahead of me. He said, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to do chemical engineering, IIT Bombay. He said, there is something called UDCT. I heard it UCDT. I had never heard that before. I go there. That was the last day, last hour of filling the form, 1 rupee form. I filled it, and I went to the clerk and said, I've come here. So, he said, we are going to close. We have already made the merit list. But anyway, give me your application. I give him, and he says, he looks at this, he says, you are number 9 in the country, and our 18 seats are for all over India. That is how I was admitted. But the best part is, I go home, I get a telegram. It says, sir, you are admitted with a hostel seat, because I had no place to stay in Mumbai. So I was so happy. And my father said, UDCT chemical engineering was 4 years, IIT was 5 years. That is why I went to UDCT. The rest is history.
Thank you, sir.
No, why I said that as a joke, because unless you love your profession, you cannot succeed. That's what I'm trying to give you a message. You must love it. Argument's sake, so you wanted to go for engineering or wanted to become a medical doctor. Now that is history. It does not mean all medical doctors are brilliant, right? Or only that profession should exist. Somebody else in your profession, you do well, that's good. So that is, it comes from compassion, it comes from your confidence, it comes from hard work. There is nothing easy in life, I'm telling you that also. You have to work extremely hard. You may be intelligent, it's not that, who is not intelligent, right? Here, everybody is intelligent, but they don't use their intelligence for the right purpose.
Thank you so much, sir, for addressing the questions.
You are convinced?
Yes, sir. So due to lack of time.
That is why I'm saying you are convinced, no? That's all right. Yes. Thank you. Oh, yeah, no, sorry, but you know what happens? You know, in conferences like this, I have always experienced. I should not boast myself. I finish my lecture and so many people come to me, sir, can I have a photo with you? Can you solve my problem? I want to do this. So it's a part and parcel of teacher's life, no?
Right, sir.
Correct?
Yes.
Chalo, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. I now invite Dr. Anup, sir, Interim Dean, to express heartfelt gratitude to our chief guest.
Oh, there are many other things here, my goodness. No, everything is over, right?
One more talk is there, sir, after your talk.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did not know that.
No, sir, but thank you for your session, sir. It was truly an eye-opener for us. You not only talked about what are the future perspectives, what are the current needs, at the same time you told us what needs to be done and what should not be done. In a way, like it's good to know mistakes and learn from it. So it's good to learn from our mistakes and not to repeat them. Like so it was truly overwhelming and eye-opener, as I said. At the same time, you address all the aspects, like not only the scientific aspects, but then whatever the policies that government may come up with. But then honesty is the best policy. Being honest with yourself, being honest with your society, being honest with our planet where we are living in, and being embedded with the task or the job that we are doing, and loving your profession. I think it was truly overwhelming and we got to know many things. And as I said, I'll repeat it again, but then what needs not to be done, don'ts are also equally important when you say do's. So that's what you address. And also, some of the mistakes that we will be doing or we are doing. So it's good to know and being humble about it and not to repeat them. So I request audience to again giving a standing ovation to the sir, because, yeah. We are truly honored for you to have here and listen to your wisdom and the essence of what you have done in last 40 years or so. So it was a, in a way, what to say, count of Andala. Fast for. No. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Anup, sir. Now I would like to introduce our next guest speaker, Professor Dr. Bharat Kale, Emeritus Professor, MIT-WPU. Dr. Bharat Kale, sir, is an eminent scientist and technologist, currently serving as Emeritus Professor and Director of Center of Excellence at Material Science at MIT-WPU University, Pune, and as Emeritus Scientist at CMET, Government of India, Pune. With over 35 years of experience, he is a leading expert in nanostructured materials for a wide range of applications, including glass, batteries, hydrogen energy, and semiconductor devices. A former Director General of CMET, sir has led and coordinated multiple national centers executing R&D project worth over rupees 100 crore as a chief investigator. His academic excellence is evident through the supervision of 25 PhD scholars, authorship of 320 plus research publications and 29 patents. With an H index of 59 and nearly 12,000 citations, sir is ranked among the top 2% scientists globally in the field of material science. Dr. Bharat Kale, sir, is a fellow of the Royal Society of Chemistry and has received numerous prestigious honors, including the APAM International Award, Vasvik Award for Industrial Research, BP Verma Award of Excellence from Indian Chemical Society and Professor S.K. Bhattacharya Award from the Catalysis Society of India. He also holds key positions as Secretary of Maharashtra Academy of Sciences and Chairman of the MRSI Pune chapter. In addition to his academic and research accolades, Dr. Bharat Kale sir serves as Technical Director of 2 companies, bridging the gap between cutting-edge research and practical innovations. I invite Dr. Anup Kale sir and Dr. Shilpa madam to felicitate Dr. Bharat Kale sir and Dr. Yadav sir to please felicitate Dr. Bharat Kale sir. Thank you, sir. I now invite Professor Dr. Bharat Kale, sir, to address the symposium.
I think we have already delayed, so I will not take much time. I just focus how this sir has mentioned about the green hydrogen. So we are also making green hydrogen in our campus, MIT-WPU. I would like to tell you what we are doing in the MIT-WPU. Next slide. So these are the research areas now we have introduced in the MIT-WPU. You can say that in R&D department we have all facilities now. Then in physics we are doing liquid crystals. So very important area like, it's not working. No, it's pointer. Okay, pointer. So in physics, we are doing liquid crystal display and other things because there we are embedding carbon, quantum dots. The semiconductor materials, sensors, quantum materials and photonic devices. One group is working on that. So it is a very, we are going to have semiconductor processing center of excellence very soon because 50% facility already we have. Then with synthesis of organic inorganic materials, metal oxide, photocatalyst, MOF. In chemistry, in pharma we have formulation of cancers. We are making the synthetic drugs as well as now we are making the combination of herbal and Ayurveda together. Then bioscience, like our leader, Dr. Anup, biomaterials, biosensors, DNA investigation, cellular microbiology. So all these areas are now available with us. Then chemistry and chemical engineering and bioengineering, we are bioprocess for metal recovery and antibacterial process, fluidized bed reactor system, because the scaling up of the products we are doing in chemical engineering. Mechanical engineering, we have design, 3D printing, robotics. Then alloy formation and properties, so all metallurgical process, glass melting, alloy melting, all this and their applications. Then electrical and electronic, we have simulation devices. Sensors, we have a MOU with CDAC, so we can have the simulation facility and students can work on that. Computer science engineering, we have simulation software, cyber security and AML application. Everything is available in this MIT-WPU campus. And I think students should aware of this. So next slide, maybe. So this is our central research facility. In central research facility, we have FESM. We have a 10 lakh magnification of the picture and materials. So we can see in nanoscale up to 10 nanometer scale. We have X-ray diffraction spectrophotometer. We can have phase purity, all materials. We have Raman. So whatever may be very stress analysis or something functional groups which doesn't appear in XRD, we can have in Raman. ICPS, we can have all trace metal impurities in PPM and PPT. Particle science analyzer we have now. Then FTR, we have U-visible, we can do liquid sample, solid sample both together. All these is available, rheometer, densitymeter, polarimeter, micro synthesizer, micro digesters, everything. So water may be required for the synthesis of materials, making the molecules, everything on the campus. So this is, So this is the major areas now we are catching: rechargeable batteries and supercapacitors, hydrogen generation and storage, CO2 conversion and capture, biofuel, semiconductor processing and quantum materials, and technologies. All these areas now we have focused. So this is the battery facility where we can make batteries, lithium-ion battery, sodium-ion battery, lithium-sulfur battery, bio-batteries we can make. If you are microbial activity or something like that, we can convert it to the energy. So we can make a cell with this facility. So these are the research are going on, all solid state batteries and all this is next generation batteries, supercapacitor, next generation supercapacitor. So we can make pouch cell like this. We can make button cells and test the materials. So all BTech students, MTech students, PhD students can take the advantage of that. Then recently we developed sodium-ion battery in our campus. You can see the display is through the sodium-ion battery. So this news has come in the paper. Now we are making bigger displays, or we are trying to make batteries for two-wheeler. So this is semiconductor processing. All these now we are working. So we can make TFT transistor, solar cells, spintronics, then tetrahedral materials. Very new areas we have tackled now, because semiconductor processing will be there in the market. There are many companies will come, like Tata Electronics, Reliance. They need almost 1.5 lakh skilled manpower. So we would like to go through this. This is the sputtering deposition we can make for solar cell and other devices. Again, these thermal E-beam systems. This is again coating system. We can coat, and for the substrate like diamond coating and all these things we can do. This is FESM system, field emission scanning electron microscope. We can see the materials at nanoscale, almost 10 lakhs magnification. So the resolution is 1 nanometer, almost 0.1 to 1 nanometer. So all pharmaceutical sample, biosamples, everything we can do. So this facility is available. Then quantum materials and processing technology, already we are doing it. So the quantum technology is has a future now. Quantum sensors, quantum communications. So we need materials for that. So this next generation materials, our one group is trying to do that. Hydrogen by microorganism, as you asked this question. So we are already making it in our chemical engineering department. So this is 5 liter capacity fermenter, and we are making almost 100 liter of hydrogen. We have grown a culture. It's a bacteria. So you can see the pure hydrogen, we are producing it. This is biofuel, same department we are working with there, where we can make the biofuels using the waste oil. So there is agro catalyst based on bio waste, and it's a porous material actually, and this porous material embedded with metals can produce this biofuel. So this yield is around 95%. So I wanted to tell all this development which is happening in the campus. That metallo-organic framework, it is a very high surface area, almost 3,000 meters per gram, and this is used for our hydrogen storage. Hydrogen storage is very important today. So we have one group in chemistry and physics. They are working on this metal-organic framework for hydrogen storage as well as CO2 capture, both. So this is the one MOF we have synthesized, which is giving almost 2,000 to 2,500 meters per gram surface area, and which the hydrogen absorption, hydrogen absorption is much better in this. So this is hydrogen is ideal fuel, as sir already told you. Many applications we can see. This is a steam reforming methanol is a standard process of making hydrogen now. So, but it's very expensive and lot of CO and along with hydrogen it is produced. So then hydrogen from biomass again is expensive. It's a pyrolysis process, 700 to 800 degrees centigrade. We have to heat it, and again we are producing H2 and CO2. We have to take care of CO2 again here. This is a very important process. Just electrolyze the water, but it's very highly energy intensive process. 15 volt or 16 volt reactor can give only 500 ml hydrogen. So it's a very quite expensive process. This is the process we are going to do. We have a lot of H2S, and this H2S is now utilized for as a class process where liquid sulfur is produced for the agriculture. What we are going to do here, whether we can produce hydrogen by using natural sunlight, using the photocatalytic process. We can have catalyst at room temperature under natural sunlight. We can produce hydrogen. Whether it is the water, whether it is the glycerol, whether it is sugarcane juice, or whether it is a beetroot, you can do that. So this work is already going on in the laboratory, and it's a very simple process. It is not a normal electrolytic process. It is a normal catalytic process. Photocatalytic process means it is a light dependent reaction. What semiconductor does generally, when semiconductor absorbs sunlight, electrons while holes are produced after photoexcitation, right? If you use electrons, then it is only for reduction. If you use holes, it's only for oxidation. So you can adjust electrons and oxidation with some tricks. Suppose I want to do reduction like water splitting or H2 splitting or any other reduction, I can strap the holes. See, when natural sunlight falls on the semiconductors, then they produce an electron. Lot many electron hole pairs will be generated, right? If you trap the holes, then free electrons will be available. Then these free electrons will be responsible for the reduction. So our objective should be how to make more free electrons. First objective should be how much electrons and holes pair maximum we can produce. If the catalyst which can absorb maximum sunlight and produce maximum electron hole pairs, then that photocatalyst is the efficient photocatalyst. So we are trying to design the catalyst which can absorb sunlight, maximum sunlight. That means the band gap should be in the visible region of that material. So then that is possible, right? So this is the criteria of the catalyst. Catalyst should be stable. Then there's absorption in the visible light, means it should be in 400 to 800 nanometers, right? And then we can play along with whether we can have UV light, UV catalyst, and we can just modify with doping and bring them to visible region. All these things will depend on doping, nanostructuring, synthesis. All these tricks has to be optimized. This is the first catalyst we developed, very highly porous catalyst, and which produced almost 2000 micromole per hour, means almost 200 to 300 milliliter for 1 hour. Then this is the UV catalyst. ZnWO4 is a highly stable catalyst. Dope with nitrogen, then bring them to visible region. You see, if UV, then this, you see this, the absorption is in the visible region, so that the light absorption much better. So I don't want to go in that, because there are many other. I want to explain more on the quantum dots kind of material, which is very highly reactive. So this is H2O splitting also here, and H2O splitting also there. This, where the first criteria is the doping. Lot many students, my 10, 15 students have done this doping with nitrogen, with boron and phosphorus, right? Almost 150 papers we have on the only doping, right? Then whether we can have heterostructures like this, like MOH2 and CDMOH2. One is the first material, is one is a single phase material, and this is again the combination of two, cadmium sulfide and molybdenum sulfide, where that work. And you can see that their structure is highly porous. It's like honeycomb-like structure. This honeycomb-like structure really help to absorption of light because their surface area is more. So this we publish in Journal of Material Chemistry, right? And this is a comparison. Though MOH2, as compared to MOH2, CDMOH4 has a good hydrogen evolution. Then another catalyst, whether on the MOH2 we can have a CDS, there is a core structure that give the better results, right? Because of the interface study. Interface we have the recombination we can increase, recombination we can decrease, so that we can have the more free electrons. Then if you have a TiO2 and two materials together at the interface, there is a trapping of holes. So that phenomena gives good catalytic activity. So there are many things with the CDS ZnWO4, then we have made others like SiO2 ZnSO4. All these things we did, and we found that the nano heterostructure also help as a good photocatalyst. So then organic catalyst, whether we can use organic material. So this is the pentacene quinone. It's a plate-like structure. On this plate-like structure, if you have a very tiny TiO2 nanoparticles or silver nanoparticles, it really helps to boost the hydrogen evolution, almost 2 liters per hour. So this hydrogen, the organic molecules also can be used. So these are so many catalysts our students have developed. And I told you that almost nano heterostructure, almost we have 60 to 70 papers. These are the review of all these catalysts. Then quantum dots. Quantum dots is the tiny particles, nanoparticles, almost 2 to 3 nanometer size scale. If you have powders like this, you can see the CDSC nanoparticles, 2 nanometers, 2.5 nanometer, 3 nanometer, 4 nanometer, 5.5 nanometer, 6.5 nanometer. See, with the size, we can see the change in the color, and this called as a size quantization effect, right? But this in powder, they are not stable. If this blue color will change green, their optical property changes after 2 days, 3 days, because these particles are not stable, nanoparticles are not stable. So we thought that let us embed them in the glass, right? And we did that. You see, if you embed it in the glass, this is a glass. In the glass, we can grow all these particles and see that band gap we can have 2.48 electron completely in the visible region with size quantization. Right? Here may be 2 nanometer, here may be 3 nanometer, here may be 4 nanometer scale. So this size quantization effect we can see in the glass. In glass itself, we have very, very small, tiny nanoparticle. Quantum dots you can see. It's almost 2 nanometer to 3 nanometer, and they are highly crystalline. The beauty of the glass in the glass is they are highly crystalline. You can see here, if you see the ED pattern of this very tiny particle, you can see the very intense. You can see the polycrystalline nature, right? And they are highly, they are bright. It shows that they are highly crystalline. So this is this. In the glass also you can see the same color. This may be 2 nanometer CDS, 3 nanometer CDS, 4 nanometer CDS, 5 nanometer CDS inside the glass. We can have the change in the color in the glass. You might have seen stones. Somebody said that I have Pushkaraj, I have a ruby glass, right? If you go to the market, you get many things in the market. Basically, these are designed on the basis of, because they have absorption in the visible region. Some of them have absorption in the UV region, right? So this kind of stone also, the physics behind it is the same, that yes, sir, particular absorption has been increased and particular absorption has been decreased according to their properties. So when I have taken this one glass, yellow glass in the market, I say, and I told this guy whether you can test it. This I got from somebody, whether it is really pure Pushkaraj or. That guy said it is a pure Pushkaraj. Then I also felt that yes, he might have tested and the same properties might have occurred in this glass. That's why he was saying. And I gave them so many glasses to him. He said that, sir, no problem. This has the same property which have natural. So we can tune the properties in the glass with size, right? So this is the. So I will not go because time is less. Then we have a CDSSC also in the glass, very crystalline material. Then I will show you very important, like suppose without cadmium sulfide, the glass is transparent. If you 2 nanometer, 3 nanometer, 6 nanometer, with size, there is a change in color in the glass of the same material. Why? This may be 400 nanometer, this is 450 nanometer, 600 nanometer, and 750 nanometer. And that means the absorption in the totally in the visible region, that increases the electron hole pairs when we can use as a catalyst. First time we have used as a catalyst. See, whenever there is a lower particle size, we found that there is a tremendous amount of hydrogen, and see the linearity. As you repeat, as you use it for 100 times, same hydrogen evolution you can get with this glass. So this is first time we are using, and we have taken the US patent of this. Same nanowires also can develop in the glass. And this paper we published in Journal of Material Chemistry. Then we use, instead of silicate, we have used germanate glass. So replace all CSiO2 with the GeO2, and we found that crystal growth is much better in germanium, and hydrogen evolution also much better. The important thing we observed that instead of hexagonal CDS, we get orthorhombic structure of CDS, which is much better for solar cell applications. Very tiny particles in the glass. And then hydrogen evolution, you can say 4 nanometers quantum dots, we get a very huge amount of hydrogen evolution, right? So see how this absorption, it changes from 300 nanometer to 600 nanometer, almost 700 nanometers. So with the huge band gap, which band gap window we have for the catalysis. This is this is the CDS, this is XRD of this CDSSC to confirm that whether CDSSC is there inside or not. Another technique used Raman, 195.5 this wavelength shows that there is a presence of CDSSC. Then CDSSC quantum dot glass photocatalyst we use, and we found the smaller nanoparticles we can have larger hydrogen evolution. Then it's a last, these bismuth quantum dots we developed, and bismuth generally is a metallic state. That's why the absorption is very broad absorption and in the near eye region. So they produce more hydrogen because they have the band gap in the visible region as well as NI region. And they absorb UV light as well as visible light as well little bit IR. So the hydrogen evolution we obtain here is much better, 11,500. It's almost 2 liters per hour. And then instead of sulfide, we have Ag3PO4 in the glass, and that also shows good hydrogen evolution. You can see these Ag3PO4 quantum dots in the glasses. They are tiny. They have 10 facets. Ag3PO4 has 10 facets. If Ag3PO4 powder, and you see in the microscope, they have 10 facets. Same this 10 nanometer particle inside the glass also 10 facet. That is the interesting thing we observe. So this is actually absorption, how it changes to visible region in the Ag3P4 also, and also shows good hydrogen evolution with the tiny particles. This is the reactor system at the top of the lab, and under natural sunlight and producing 2 liters per hour, almost 2 liters per hour hydrogen using this only natural sunlight using this glass. The beauty of this glass is we can recycle 100 times. So we are talking to ONGC and other people to how we can take further. Then we are also working on neutrino energy that I'm not going to talk much on this. So this is my last slide. So energy generation and energy storage both are important. In MIT-WPU we are working on both biohydrogen as well as photocatalytic hydrogen, hydrogen storage, CO2 capture. One of our group working on CO2 to methanol with catalytic process, bioprocess. So we'd like to have your help in microorganism, whether which can, different kind of microorganism, whether which can convert CO2 into methanol or CO2 into ethanol or CO2 into acetic acid. As Sir mentioned, there are many ways to do with bioprocess. Through the bioprocess, one process we did like silicon formation. We have a ferrosilicon in the market, right? Sand contain 95, almost 75% of SiO2 and 25% Fe. Whether we can separate SiO2 and Fe, or whether we can directly make silicon particles. Silicon is required. Silicon is imported. So this is happening by the microorganism which can eat oxygen and produce silicon. If you have quartz generated from the rice husk, it's highly pure quartz, 99.8 to 99.9%. Whether we can use microorganism and reduce SiO2 to Si, that will be the very economical process. Let it be process be 5 days, doesn't matter, because the conventional process is a very lengthy process. If you want to make silicon, I have to use 1200 degrees temperature with carbon, 1200 degrees with hydrogen, and it is low. Whether we can have this biological process at room temperature, so we can make silicon at cheaper cost in the country. And I think that is the one objective we have in the MIT-WPU. There are good results are there, encouraging results are there, but still, if we can come together, I think we can solve these problems. Thank you very much. So we have collaboration all. So any questions you have, I can always either we can write to me, or we can talk to Anup for anything. Yes.
Actually, I'm we are trying to develop a product which is based on nanomaterial photocatalyst for the degradation of pesticides to reduce the pH, that is pre-harvest in the pesticide. So can you suggest some nanomaterial which would be?
Yeah, this N-doped ZnWO4 you can use, because ZnWO4 is a highly stable material. Doesn't react with acid, doesn't react with alkali. If you doped with nitrogen, you can have the range from 400 nanometer to almost 700 nanometer absorption, and then that will really help for degradation.
And how safe it will be?
It will be quite safe.
And it is readily and cheaply available also?
Cheaply, we have to make. It is not available in the market, but we will make it. It is a cheaper process.
Protocol. Like, it is feasible for larger scale, or?
It is feasible for larger scale. Suppose under photocatalysis, we can make a fluidized bed reactor system in bigger scale, make a glass column with under natural sunlight, or you can use with the reflectors. and make it. Yeah, no problem. Same thing, that fluoride bed reactor I have designed, that is US patent of this fluoride bed. So we can make it in large scale. Oxidation, no problem. Your process is an oxidation process.
Yes, oxidation.
So I have to trap electrons. Holes should be more.
So like for the oxidation, electrons will interfere and vice versa also. We need to.
I see. Now you have to see what chemicals we have in that. Accordingly, you have to play with that. You should have auto oxidation reduction, because if both are there, if only single oxidation is there, then you can trap the holes, electrons. I'll solve that problem. I have already solved these problems with some companies, so you can always come. Thank you.
Further, to take a moment to express our gratitude to our event sponsor, NextGen Life Sciences. I invite Dr. Anup Kale sir, Dr. Shilpa madam, and Dr. Kaushik for felicitation ceremony. Today we have Mr. Rahat Ali, who is Business Development Manager from NextGen Life Sciences. And we also have Dr. Shivani, Applications Scientist from NextGen Life Sciences. I also invite Dr. Bharat Kale sir to felicitate the team members of NextGen Life Sciences. Please give a round of applause. Thank you. I now invite Dr. Shilpa Chapadgaonkar, Program Director, Department of Biosciences and Technology, and co-convener of the symposium to deliver the vote of thanks.
I don't want to stand between you and your lunch, but expression of gratitude is very, very important, and it is the only job I can accomplish today. With the stalwarts speaking before me, Dr. G.D. Yadav, he is Padma Shri. If we are fortunate to become Padma Raj, that would be great achievement for us. He was my teacher in ICT, and now Dr. Bharat Kale sir, who is guiding us as our research advisor. So hearing from them is always moving. It is giving us new ideas. So first of all, expressing my deep gratitude to these two stalwarts. Next, I would like to express my thanks to all the participants of this symposium, with whom we will be successful in discussing such important matters. After that, I would like to express this, so there is no chronology, but the convener, Dr. Anup Kale, the co-conveners, Dr. Nitya, Tejaswini madam, and Dr. Mansi, and all our PhD and UG, PG volunteers. These are these made this thing happen, and all our so the guiding light, we cannot forget the guiding light. Our executive president sir, executive director madam, our VC sir, Pro VC sir, Pandey sir, and these people made us want to do this workshop and our symposium. And not forgetting our sponsors, ANRF, Next Gen Life Sciences, BAIF, and Revity, who carried out the pre-symposium workshop. So I'm sorry if I'm forgetting someone, but each and everyone, we are here today on a mission. And as GD Yadav said, he actually rung a bell, and we should know that the clock is ticking. And these are very important matters, and you as a youth has to participate. With this, I will close, and we will have an announcement for lunch now. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, madam.
Photograph. And there is one announcement that please arrange your posters on the stands which are put in the canopy area. Also, the lunch is arranged in the canopy area ground floor. So after the group photograph, you can proceed for the lunch. And we look forward to welcome you back for the next parallel session at 2:15 p.m. Thank you.